Captain Lee Daeho stood on the bridge of the UN Indomitable, watching the stars through the main screen. The space around Earth looked peaceful, but Lee knew that would change soon. His hands gripped the metal rail as he thought about the message that had arrived 3 days ago. The alien ships had appeared at the edge of the solar system without warning. Huge vessels, bigger than anything humans had ever built. They came from the Corvani Empire, a group that had taken over many star systems. Now they wanted Earth too. Dr. Park So-young walked onto the bridge carrying a datapad. She was the head scientist for Project Phoenix, a secret weapons program that Earth had been working on for years. Her face looked worried as she approached. "Lee." "Captain, the alien fleet is moving closer to Earth," she said. "Our sensors show they have at least 50 ships. Each one is 3 times bigger than our largest battleship." Lee nodded. He had seen the reports. The Corvani Empire was strong. They had conquered 17 different worlds in the past 100 years. Every time the same thing happened. The aliens would show up, demand surrender, and the planet would give up without a fight. But Earth was different. Colonel Kim Tae-min entered the bridge from the elevator. He commanded the Orbital Defense Corps, the soldiers who protected the space around Earth. His uniform was clean and pressed, but his eyes showed he was ready for battle. "Sir, all defense stations are ready," Kim reported. "We have weapons hidden, on the moon Mars and in the asteroid belt. The aliens don't know about them yet." Lee smiled slightly. For 5 years, ever since Earth's scientists had detected the first alien scout probe, humanity had been preparing. They had built secret weapons and trained new soldiers. They had studied everything they could learn about the Corvani Empire, from old radio signals and captured data. The main screen beeped, and a new image appeared. It showed an alien face with gray skin and large black eyes. The creature wore a military uniform covered in strange symbols. This was Admiral Vexstar, the leader of the Corvani fleet. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Admiral Vexstar of the Corvani Empire. Your world has been chosen to join our great civilization. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Your governments must give up all power. Your military must lay down all weapons. If you do this, your people will be allowed to live as servants of the Empire." The alien paused, looking directly at the camera. "If you refuse, we will destroy your planet and everyone on it. This is not a threat. This is a promise. We have done this to many worlds before you. You cannot win against us. Choose wisely." The message ended and the bridge became quiet. Lee looked around at his crew. Some looked scared, but most looked angry. Earth had spent the last century learning to work together. Wars between countries had ended. People had united to explore space and protect their home. "Sir," the communications officer said, "we're getting calls from every government on Earth. They want to know what we should do." Lee thought for a moment. The smart choice might be to surrender. The Corvani Empire was huge and powerful. They had technology that was far ahead of human science. But Lee remembered something his grandfather had told him long ago. Sometimes the smart choice is not the right choice. "Open a channel to the alien fleet," Lee ordered. The communications officer pressed several buttons. "Channel open, sir." Lee straightened his uniform and looked directly at the camera. He knew that his next words would decide the fate of humanity. "Admiral Vexstar," Lee began, his voice calm and clear. "This is Captain Lee Daeho of the United Earth Navy. I speak for all humans when I give you our answer to your demand." Dr. Park and Colonel Kim stood behind him, showing their support. Around the bridge, every crew member stood at attention. "You say we should surrender because you are strong and we are weak," Lee continued. "You say we should give up because other worlds have given up before us. But you made one big mistake when you came to our system." Lee paused, letting his words sink in. "You assumed we would be like all the others. You thought we would be afraid and give up without a fight. But humans are different. We don't surrender when someone threatens our home and our families." The captain stepped closer to the camera. "So here is our answer to your ultimatum. Come and take it." Lee made a cutting gesture, and the communications officer ended the transmission. The bridge was silent for several seconds. "Sir," Dr. Park said quietly, Are you sure about this? Their technology is much better than ours. Lee turned to face her. Maybe their technology is better, but they don't understand humans. They think we're just another weak species that will give up easily. They're about to learn they're wrong. Colonel Kim nodded in agreement. My soldiers are ready, sir. We've been training for this day for 5 years. Our weapons may be different from theirs, but our will to fight is stronger. Lee looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, the alien fleet was getting ready for battle. Admiral Vexitar was probably shocked by Earth's refusal to surrender. The Corvani had never faced real resistance before. Park, how long until Project Phoenix is ready? Lee asked. The first wave of adaptive weapons is already in position, she replied. They'll learn and improve with every shot we fire. The longer the battle goes on, the better our weapons will become. Good, Lee said. Kim, tell all defense stations to prepare for combat. Make sure every hidden weapon is ready to fire. Yes, sir, Kim responded, speaking into his radio. Lee knew that the next few days would determine whether humanity survived or became slaves to an alien empire, but he felt confident in his decision. Humans had always fought when their backs were against the wall. They had always found ways to win against impossible odds. The Corvani Empire expected Earth to surrender like all the other worlds they had conquered. Instead, they were about to face an enemy unlike any they had met before. An enemy that would adapt, learn, and fight with everything they had. The war for humanity's freedom was about to begin. Admiral Vexitar stared at the screen in his command room, his gray face showing confusion and anger. In 300 years of military service, no species had ever refused the Empire's offer of surrender. Every world had given up within hours. Of seeing the Corvani fleet, sir, his second officer said. Should we attack immediately? Vexitar shook his head. No. First, we will show them what happens when they refuse our generous offer. Target their moon with the plasma cannons. One strike should be enough to make them change their minds. On the moon's surface, Commander Choi Min-ho watched the alien ships through his underground command center. Luna Base had been built in secret over the past 5 years, hidden deep inside old mining tunnels. The base contained the most advanced weapons that human science could create. Sir, the alien fleet is moving into attack position, reported Sergeant Lee from the sensor station. They're aiming their big guns at us. Choi nodded calmly. He had expected this. The aliens always started with a demonstration attack to scare their enemies, but Luna Base was ready for them. All weapon systems, prepare. To fire, Choi ordered. Remember, wait for my command, let them fire first. The Corvani dreadnought fired its main plasma cannon. The bright beam of energy shot across space toward the moon, but instead of hitting empty rock, the beam struck a hidden shield generator that engineer Yoon Ji-hae had designed. The shield absorbed most of the energy and spread it harmlessly across the moon's surface. Now, Choi shouted. The moon's surface erupted with human weapons. Railgun batteries that had been hidden under fake rocks rose up and began firing metal slugs at incredible speeds. Missile silos opened like flowers, launching hundreds of guided rockets toward the alien fleet. But these were not ordinary weapons. Dr. Park's Project Phoenix had created guns and missiles that could learn from each battle. Every time they fired, computer brains inside the weapons studied how the enemy moved and how their shields worked. Then the weapons adjusted themselves to be more effective. On the Corvani flagship, alarms began ringing throughout the ship. Admiral, the weapons officer called out. We're taking heavy fire from the moon. Their weapons are hitting our shields faster than we can repair them. Vexitar couldn't believe what he was seeing. 3 of his cruisers were already badly damaged. The human weapons seemed to know exactly where to hit for maximum damage. How is this possible? He demanded. These humans are supposed to be primitive. The truth was that humanity had been preparing for this exact moment. When Earth's scientists had found the first Corvani scout probe 5 years ago, they had learned everything they could about alien technology. They had studied recordings of the Empire's previous conquests and analyzed every piece of data they could find. Engineer Yoon Ji-hae sat in her control room deep inside Luna Base, watching her adaptive weapons work. The computers were learning the patterns of alien ship movement and adjusting the aim of every gun and missile in real time. Commander Choi, she reported over the radio. Our weapons are adapting faster than expected. Each shot is 20% more accurate than the last one. Excellent work, Yoon, Choi replied. Keep firing. Don't give them time to figure out our tactics. Back on the UEN Indomitable, Captain Lee watched the battle through the main screen. He felt proud of his people, but knew this was only the beginning. Doctor. Park stood next to him, monitoring data from the lunar weapons. Captain, our adaptive systems are working perfectly. The alien shields are designed to stop traditional weapons, but our guns are changing their firing patterns faster than their shields can adapt. How long can we keep this up? Lee asked. As long as we need to, Park replied with confidence. That's the beauty of adaptive technology. The longer we fight, the better we get. On the alien flagship, Admiral Vextar was learning this lesson the hard way. His fleet had just lost 2 more ships to the strange human weapons that seemed to get more dangerous with every minute of combat. Sir, his tactical officer reported, I recommend we retreat and call for reinforcements. These humans fight unlike any species we've encountered before. Vextar's pride would not let him retreat. No, we are the Corvani Empire. We do not run from primitive aliens. All ships, focus fire on the moon. We will destroy their weapons, and then their planet. But as the alien fleet concentrated their attack on Luna Base, more human weapons revealed themselves. Hidden gun platforms in the asteroid belt began firing. Missile bases on Mars launched their own attacks. Secret weapons on Earth's orbital stations joined the battle. Commander Choi smiled as he watched the tactical display. The aliens had fallen into the trap perfectly. By focusing all their attention on the moon, they had exposed themselves to attack from multiple directions. All human forces, this is Luna Base, Choi broadcast. Execute Battle Plan Alpha. Show these invaders what happens when they threaten Earth. Engineer Yoon watched her screens with excitement. The adaptive weapons were performing better than she had ever hoped. Not only were they learning how to fight the alien ships, but they were sharing that knowledge with all the other human weapons in the solar system. Every human gun, missile, and defense system was getting smarter with each second of combat. The aliens had better technology, but humans had something the Empire had never faced: weapons that evolved during battle. Admiral Vextar finally understood the terrible mistake he had made. These humans were not like the other species his empire had conquered. They had been ready for this war. They had prepared for years, and their weapons were designed specifically to fight against superior technology. All ships, fall back to the edge of the system, he ordered reluctantly. We need to rethink our strategy, but it was too late for an easy retreat. The human weapons had learned too much about Corvani technology. As the alien ships tried to withdraw, guided missiles followed them through space, hitting them from behind. Commander Choi watched 3 more enemy ships explode on his screen. This is just the beginning, he said to his crew. Let them run back to their empire and tell them what they learned here today. Engineer Yoon nodded in agreement. Our weapons will remember everything from this battle. Next time the aliens attack, we'll be even more ready for them. Captain Lee received the battle report with satisfaction. Humanity had won its first victory against the Corvani Empire. The aliens had learned that Earth would not surrender easily. More importantly, human technology had proven it could adapt and improve fast enough to fight against superior alien weapons. The war was far from over, but humanity had sent a clear message to the galaxy. Earth would fight for its freedom, and anyone who threatened human lives would pay a heavy price for their aggression. Admiral Vextar paced back and forth in his command room, his anger growing with each step. The loss of 8 ships in the first battle had shocked the entire Corvani fleet. No enemy had ever caused such damage to Imperial forces in a single engagement. Sir, his communications officer reported, High Command is demanding an explanation for our losses. Vextar stopped pacing and glared at the officer. Tell them the humans fight with weapons we have never seen before. Their technology adapts during battle. But we will not be defeated by these primitives. The Admiral had called for reinforcements from across the Empire. Now, instead of 50 ships, he commanded over 200 vessels. The largest invasion fleet the Corvani had ever assembled surrounded the Earth's solar system. Begin the blockade, Vextar ordered. No ships leave this system. No supplies reach their planet. We will starve them into surrender. On Earth, Admiral Seo Young-jun stood in the underground command center that controlled humanity's defense forces. The past 3 months had been difficult, but not in the way the aliens expected. Instead of growing weaker, human forces were becoming stronger every day. "Sir," reported Captain Han Soo-jin, the leader of humanity's new stealth corvette squadron, "our hidden shipyards in the outer system are working at full capacity. We're building 12 new ships every month using captured alien technology." SEO nodded with satisfaction. While the aliens maintained their blockade, human engineers had been busy. Every piece of wreckage from the first battle had been studied and reverse engineered. Dr. Kwon Dong-wook's team had found ways to improve Corvani technology and make it work better with human systems. "What about supplies?" Yeo asked. "No problem, sir," Han replied. "Our asteroid mining stations are providing all the materials we need. The aliens don't know about our hidden bases in the outer planets." The truth was that humanity had spent 5 years preparing for exactly this situation. Hidden factories on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn were producing weapons and ships. Secret supply lines moved through space routes that the aliens had never discovered. Captain Han walked over to the tactical display showing the positions of all ships in the solar system. Red dots marked the alien vessels maintaining their blockade. Green dots showed the growing number of human ships hiding in asteroid fields and behind moons. "Admiral," Han said, "my stealth ships are ready for Operation Ghost Strike. We've identified the weakest points in their blockade formation." SEO studied the display carefully. The aliens had made the same mistake that many superior forces made. When fighting weaker enemies, they had become overconfident and predictable. "Execute the operation," SEO ordered. "Show them that a blockade works both ways." Han saluted and left to brief her pilots. The stealth corvettes were small, fast ships that used technology borrowed from alien sensors. They were nearly invisible to Corvani detection systems, especially when they moved slowly and stayed close to asteroids. 6 hours later, the first Ghost Strike began. Han's ships emerged from hiding places throughout the solar system. They approached the alien blockade from unexpected directions, using the gravity of planets and moons to mask their movement. The aliens never saw them coming. Lieutenant Nam Hee-ri piloted the lead corvette toward a Corvani supply ship. Her vessel was equipped with the latest adaptive weapons that had learned from the lunar battle. The missiles she carried could adjust their attack patterns in real time. "Target locked," Nam reported over the radio. "Firing adaptive torpedoes." The missiles streaked toward the alien ship, changing direction and speed as they flew. The Corvani point defense systems tried to shoot them down, but the torpedoes had already learned how to avoid that type of weapon. The supply ship exploded in a bright flash of light. Around the solar system, similar attacks were happening at the same time. Human stealth ships struck at alien vessels and then disappeared back into hiding before the enemy could respond. "Sir," the tactical officer on Vextar's flagship called out, "we're under attack from multiple directions. Small human ships are hitting our supply vessels and support craft." Vextar rushed to his command station. On the display he could see red warning lights marking damaged ships throughout his fleet. The humans were using hit-and-run tactics that his forces were not prepared for. "Send fighters to hunt down these small ships," he ordered. "Sir, we can't locate them," the officer replied. "They disappear after each attack. Our sensors can't track them." This was exactly what Admiral Seo had planned. While the aliens focused on maintaining their blockade of Earth, human forces were slowly destroying the Corvani fleet from within. Every successful attack provided more alien technology for human engineers to study and improve. Dr. Kwon Dong-wook worked day and night in his laboratory, analyzing captured alien equipment. Each piece of technology revealed new possibilities for human weapons and ships. "Admiral Seo," Kwon reported during their daily briefing, "we've made a breakthrough with their shield technology. Our new ships can generate shields that are 40% stronger than the original alien designs." "Excellent," Seo replied. "How many ships are equipped with the new shields?" 20 so far, with more being upgraded every day. Quan answered. But sir, I've discovered something even more important. The aliens use a central communication network to coordinate their fleet. If we could access that network, SEO understood immediately. We could learn everything about their operations. Exactly. And possibly do much more than just gather information. Captain, Han's ghost strikes continued for weeks, slowly weakening the alien blockade. The Corvani lost ships faster than they could repair them. Worse, they were losing supplies and could not call for more reinforcements without breaking the blockade. Admiral Vextar faced a terrible choice. He could maintain the blockade and watch his fleet slowly die, or he could attack Earth directly and risk another disaster like the lunar battle. Sir, his second officer advised, perhaps we should retreat and request a larger fleet from High Command. No, Vextar shouted. The Empire does not retreat from primitive aliens. We will break their resistance and make them surrender. But the aliens were learning what many conquerors had discovered throughout history. Sometimes the primitive enemy is more dangerous than the advanced one. The humans were not fighting by the rules that the Empire expected. They used creativity, adaptation, and patience instead of raw power. On Earth, Admiral Seo received reports of successful attacks throughout the solar system. Human casualties were light, while alien losses grew heavier each day. Sir, Captain, Han reported, we're ready for the next phase of operations. Our stealth ships have identified the alien command vessel. SEO smiled. Then it's time to take this war directly to their leader. Prepare for Operation Boomerang. The blockade that was supposed to starve humanity into surrender had become a trap for the Corvani fleet. Soon, the aliens would learn that underestimating human determination and ingenuity had been their greatest mistake. Admiral Vextar did not yet know it, but his empire was about to face a type of warfare they had never encountered before. The humans were no longer just defending their home. They were preparing to take the fight to their enemies. Captain Han Soo-jin floated in zero gravity inside her stealth corvette, checking her equipment one final time. Operation Boomerang was the most dangerous mission humanity had ever attempted. Instead of just attacking alien ships, her team would board the enemy flagship and plant computer viruses in their communication system. All teams report ready, Lieutenant Nam Hyeri whispered over the radio. Her ship floated next to Han's, both vessels invisible to alien sensors. Remember, Han said quietly, we're not here to destroy their ship. We need to get inside their computer network and get out alive. If this works, we'll know everything about the Corvani Empire. Dr. Kwon Dong-wook had spent weeks preparing the computer viruses. They were designed to copy information from alien systems while hiding their presence. The viruses would spread through the Empire's communication network, giving humanity access to military plans, star maps, and technology blueprints. Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying reports of the continued attacks on his fleet. The human stealth ships had destroyed another supply convoy during the night. His forces were running low on fuel and replacement parts. Sir, his communications officer reported, High Command is demanding an immediate victory. They're threatening to replace you if this campaign continues much longer. Vextar's gray face darkened with anger. He had served the Empire faithfully for 3 centuries, conquering world after world. These primitive humans would not be allowed to destroy his reputation. Prepare all ships for a direct assault on Earth, he ordered. We will break their resistance with overwhelming force. What the Admiral did not know was that 2 tiny human ships were attached to the hull of his vessel, hidden among the massive ship's sensor arrays and weapon systems. Han and Nam had spent 6 hours slowly approaching the flagship, moving so carefully that their ships looked like space debris. Boarding in 60 seconds, Han whispered to her team. The stealth corvettes had special airlocks that could cut through alien hull metal without making noise or triggering alarms. Inside the flagship, Corvani crew members went about their duties, unaware that human soldiers were about to enter their ship. The aliens had never faced boarding attacks before. Their technology was so superior to most enemies that close combat was almost unknown to them. Han and her team of 12 soldiers cut through the hull and entered a storage room deep inside the ship. They moved quickly through dark corridors, following maps that human intelligence had created by studying captured alien vessels. Target is 3 levels up. reported Sergeant Park, checking his scanner. No enemy contacts detected. The team moved like ghosts through the alien ship. Their black armor was designed to absorb light and sound, making them nearly invisible in the dim corridors. Each soldier carried weapons that fired special bullets designed to work in the ship's atmosphere. Dr. Kwan had studied Corvani computer systems for months. He had learned that aliens used central terminals to control all ship functions. If Han's team could reach the main computer core, they could plant viruses in the entire fleet's communication network. "Contact ahead," Nam whispered. 2 guards at the computer room entrance. Han studied the situation through her scope. The alien guards looked bored and inattentive. They had never needed to watch for enemies inside their own ships. "Take them, quietly," Han ordered. Nam and Sergeant Park moved forward silently. The guards never knew what hit them. Within seconds, both aliens were unconscious on the floor. "Clear," Nam reported. Moving to the computer core, the main computer room was filled with alien technology that looked like crystal trees growing from metal floors. Dr. Kwan had prepared Han's team for this site, but it was still amazing to see the advanced systems that controlled the massive warship. "Plant the viruses," Han ordered. "We have 5 minutes before someone discovers the guards." Sergeant Park connected a small device to one of the crystal computer terminals. The device contained Dr. Kwan's most advanced computer programs, designed to copy information and spread through the alien network without being detected. "Upload complete," Park reported. "The viruses are spreading through their system now." "Good. Time to leave," Han said. But as her team moved toward the exit, alarms began ringing throughout the ship. "Intruder alert," announced the ship's computer system in the alien language. "All security teams report to level 7. "They found the guards," Nam said. "We need another way out." Han checked her map of the ship. "Emergency escape pod bay is 2 levels down. We can steal a pod and get back to our ships." The team moved quickly through corridors that were now filled with running alien soldiers. The Corvani were not trained for fighting inside their own ships, and they moved in predictable patterns that made them easy to avoid. "Human soldiers detected on level 6, announced the ship's computer. "Seal all exits." Heavy doors began closing throughout the ship, but Han's team reached the escape pod bay just in time. They fought a brief battle with alien guards, then stole one of the small emergency vehicles. "This is Han," she radioed to her corvettes. "Mission accomplished. We're coming out in an alien escape pod. Don't shoot us." The stolen pod launched from the flagship and flew toward the hidden human ships. Behind them, the alien vessel was in chaos as security teams searched for more intruders they would never find. Admiral Vextar arrived at the computer room to find his technicians examining the crystal terminals. "What did the intruders do?" he demanded. "Sir, they connected some kind of device to our main system," the lead technician reported. "But our security programs destroyed it immediately. No information was stolen." Vextar felt relief. At least the humans had not learned anything important about the Empire. What he did not know was that Dr. Kwan's viruses had already copied thousands of files and were spreading through the communication network to every ship in the fleet. Back on Earth, Admiral Seo received Han's report with excitement. "How long until we have access to their network?" Dr. Kwan studied his computer screens. "The viruses are working perfectly, sir. We're already receiving intelligence from 12 ships. By tomorrow, we should have access to their entire communication system." "Excellent work," SEO said. "Now we can begin Operation Boomerang's second phase." The next morning, Admiral Vextar prepared his fleet for the final assault on Earth. He had over 150 ships left after months of human attacks. Surely that would be enough to break the planet's defenses. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving orders from High Command. They want detailed reports on our battle plans." "Send them everything," Vextar ordered. "Let them see how we will crush these humans." What the Admiral did not realize was that every message his fleet sent was also being copied by human computers. Dr. Kwan's viruses had given humanity complete access to Corvani military communications. Admiral Seo read the intercepted alien battle plans with satisfaction. "They're planning to attack from 3 directions," he told his staff. They expect to overwhelm our orbital defenses with concentrated fire. Sir, reported Colonel Kim Tae-min, our adaptive weapons are ready for them. We know exactly where they'll attack and when. Then let's give them a welcome they'll never forget, Seo said with a smile. Operation Boomerang had succeeded beyond humanity's greatest hopes. Not only did they have access to Corvani communications, but they also had star maps showing the locations of other alien fleets throughout the galaxy. The war was about to enter a new phase, and for the first time, humans would have the advantage of superior intelligence. Admiral Seo Young-jun watched the tactical display as the Corvani fleet moved into position for their final attack on Earth. Thanks to the stolen intelligence, he knew exactly where every alien ship would be and when they would strike. All defensive positions prepare for coordinated response, Seo ordered. Remember, we know their battle plan better than they do. The Corvani attack began at dawn, Earth time. Admiral Vextar's ships approached from 3 directions, just as their intercepted communications had revealed. But instead of facing surprise defenders, they encountered weapons that were already aimed at the exact spots where alien ships would appear. Dr. Park So-young's adaptive weapons had learned much from previous battles. Now they fired with deadly accuracy, hitting alien ships before the enemy realized they were under attack. The Corvani formation broke apart within minutes as their carefully planned assault turned into chaos. Sir, Vextar's tactical officer called out. The humans knew exactly where we would attack. It's like they read our battle plans. Impossible, Vextar replied, but doubt crept into his voice. The human response was too perfect to be lucky. While the main battle raged around Earth, something even more significant was happening in deep space. General Lim Jae-sung commanded humanity's first interstellar fleet, built with captured alien technology and improved by human engineering. All ships jump to hyperspace, Lim ordered. Target, Corvani staging base at Wolf 359. 25 human warships disappeared into faster-than-light travel, using star maps stolen from the alien communication network. Their mission was to attack Corvani bases before reinforcements could reach Earth. Captain Oh Min-seo stood on the bridge of the diplomatic vessel UN Messenger, approaching a planet called Theta Prime. Intelligence gathered from alien communications had revealed that this world was home to a species that the Corvani had conquered 50 years ago. Sir, her communications officer reported, we're receiving a signal from the planet. They're asking who we are. Tell them we're humans from Earth, Oh replied. Tell them we're here to help them fight the Empire. The response came quickly. Did you say humans? The ones who defeated the Corvani fleet at your homeworld? Oh smiled. News of humanity's victories had spread throughout the galaxy faster than Imperial communications. Conquered species everywhere were learning that the mighty Corvani Empire could be beaten. Back at Earth, the alien attack was failing completely. Admiral Vextar watched his fleet take heavy losses while barely damaging the human defenses. Worse, his ships were receiving reports of attacks on Corvani bases throughout the region. Sir, his communications officer reported with panic in his voice. Staging Base 7 at Wolf 359 is under attack by human ships. Base commander requests immediate assistance. How is that possible? Vextar demanded. Humans don't have interstellar travel. But they did now. Dr. Kwon Dong-wook's team had reverse-engineered Corvani hyperdrive technology and made it work with human ship designs. The new drives were actually faster than the original alien versions. General Lim's fleet struck the Wolf 359 base like lightning. The Corvani defenders had never faced attack by an enemy with superior intelligence about their defenses and weaknesses. Target, their main reactor, Lim ordered. Captured communications show it's poorly shielded. The human ships fired their adaptive weapons at specific weak points revealed by stolen alien technical manuals. The massive space station exploded in a chain reaction that destroyed half the Corvani ships docked there. Sir, reported Captain Nam from her stealth corvette, enemy survivors are evacuating in escape pods. Should we capture them? Negative, Lim replied. Let them go. I want them to report what happened here to their commanders. This was part of humanity's psychological warfare strategy. By allowing some enemies to escape and tell their story, human forces spread fear throughout the Corvani military. The Empire's soldiers were learning that humans could strike anywhere, anytime. On Theta Prime, Captain O was meeting with leaders of the native Keltar species. These tall, blue-skinned people had once been proud warriors before the Corvani conquered their world. "You really defeated an entire Corvani fleet?" asked Commander Vorgak, leader of the Keltar resistance. "We did more than defeat them," O replied. "We captured their technology and learned their secrets. Now we're using their own weapons against them." She showed the aliens a datapad containing information about human victories. "We can teach you how to build adaptive weapons. We can share intelligence about Corvani movements. But most importantly, we can coordinate attacks across multiple systems." Vorgak's eyes widened with hope. "You would share your technology with us?" "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," O said, using an old human saying. "Together, we can free your world and many others." This was happening on dozens of planets throughout the galaxy. Human diplomatic ships were making contact with conquered species, offering them hope and assistance. The Corvani Empire was facing something they had never encountered: a coordinated rebellion across multiple star systems. Admiral Vextar finally ordered his fleet to retreat from Earth's solar system. He had lost over 80 ships and gained nothing. Worse, reports were coming in of attacks on Imperial bases throughout the region. "Sir," his second officer said quietly, "High Command is ordering your immediate return to the capital world. You are to report for questioning about the failure of this campaign." Vextar knew his military career was over. The Empire would blame him for the disaster, even though no Corvani commander had ever faced an enemy like humanity before. On Earth, Admiral Seo received reports of victories from across the galaxy. Human forces had attacked 12 Corvani bases and made contact with resistance groups on 30 worlds. "Sir," reported Dr. Kwan, "our computer viruses have spread throughout the Imperial communication network. We now have access to intelligence from the entire Corvani Empire." "Excellent," Seo replied. "What are they saying about our operations?" "They're scared," Kwan said with satisfaction. "Imperial commanders are reporting that human forces can appear anywhere without warning. Some are even requesting permission to retreat from frontier systems." Admiral Seo looked at the star map showing human and allied operations throughout the galaxy. Red markers showed Corvani positions, while green markers indicated successful human attacks or new alien allies. "For the first time in centuries, the Corvani Empire is losing territory," he observed. "They're learning what it feels like to be on the defensive." The war had changed completely. Instead of defending Earth from invasion, humanity was now leading a galactic revolution against Imperial rule. Species that had been conquered decades ago were rising up, inspired by human victories and supported by human technology. Captain O sent her report back to Earth. 12 new species have agreed to join our alliance. They're providing intelligence about Imperial forces in their regions and building weapons based on our designs. The Corvani Empire had expected to conquer one more primitive world. Instead, they had awakened a force that threatened their entire civilization. Humanity's greatest weapons were not their adaptive technology or military skill, but their ability to inspire others and turn enemies into allies. The Empire was learning too late that some species could not be conquered, only united in opposition to tyranny.